what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
This
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. It's Monday. It's Monday in here. Definitely.
Monday.
Feeling the vibes.
Yes.
Feeling the vibes.
Yeah.
We're laughing at, do I look a little low, Ira? I guess not. I'm in the shot. But Tori's way higher than me. I don't like the dynamic of that.
This is better.
Now I feel inferior. All right, guys, we're going to switch some gears here because we are starting off with some sad news. Singer Aaron Carter has died over the weekend at the age of 34. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen. He was also the brother of Backstreet Boys star Nick Carter. TMZ says his housekeeper found him unresponsive in a bathtub on Saturday. By the time paramedics arrived, he had already passed away. Aaron rose to fame in the 90s when he was only 9 years old. In September, he checked himself into rehab for drug addiction after losing custody of his infant son. On Instagram, Nick Carter shared photos of the two, writing that even though he had a complicated relationship with his brother, his love for him never faded. And on Sunday, the Backstreet Boys comforted Nick while paying tribute to Aaron during a concert. Yeah, it's got to be tough. I mean, he's had problems for a long time, and over the weekend my phone was blowing up. Did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see this? And it's not, you know, when someone passes away, it's always sad and tragic, but I don't know why people were shocked in a way by this, because he's been troubled for a long, long time, and we've been following it, sadly.
Yeah, I think it's hard because when someone passes away, you want to remember all of their legacy. You want to remember the amazing things. Like all these people are posting these posters of, like, you know, the posters that they used to have when they were growing up. But a lot of us have lost people because of substance abuse, and it's such a tricky thing to have a conversation about when someone is struggling actively. It's like, I don't know if, like, you're necessarily saying I'm surprised and I'm shocked that it happened, but it just hits home for so many people in so many different ways that you just want to show, you know, empathy around it.
Yeah, it's like, sadly, a very empathetic, relatable problem in America that I think every family can understand. I was watching him do a talk to his mom about substance abuse, and he looked at his mom. It was on camera. You can look it up and Google it. And he said to her, her substance abuse issues have really affected me. I don't want that short life. I don't want a short life. I want a long life. I don't want to live that statistic. And it saddens me so much more that he ended up being caught into that cycle and that he saw it coming in a way. So my thoughts and prayers, and for everyone out there that's struggling, if you're in between or not, it's a terrible time.
When this story came up, I immediately thought about Whitney Houston and Bobby Christina. I was like, oh, this similar situation. Immediately my mind went there. And it's just so sad because when you're in those spaces, sometimes you're isolated. Even some of his bandmates, you know, they didn't have that much communication anymore. And so I just hope that people can find family, and maybe not the famous friends or whatever, just find people to surround them that are actually going to try to get them help, even though it's not as simple as just saying get help. You know, you have an issue, but just continue to stay there and don't give up on it.
It's scary because how do you help, right? People were troubled. He was troubled for a long, long time, and they tried, and now his family kind of got pushed away, and then this is kind of the end result. So it's a serious deal. But
it's a familiar story, I think, for a lot of people.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We're going to switch gears here a little bit again. More celebrities are coming for new Twitter owner Elon Musk. Valerie Bertinelli changed her name on Twitter to Elon Musk. She did it to prove his idea of charging $8 to verify your account is flawed. She tweeted, the blue checkmark simply meant your identity was verified. Scammers would have a harder time impersonating you. That no longer applies. Good luck out there. And Kathy Griffin also impersonated Musk on the site, but he ended up suspending her account. Musk joked she was suspended for impersonating a comedian, but she said she could get her account back if she paid $8. Kathy responded, I don't know why I'm giggling at that. Kathy responded, tweeting from her late mother's account saying, quote, "You stole that joke, you bleep. Look, please do a better job running this company. It used to mean something." This is KG, by the way. So Elon clarified that any account that does not clearly state it's a parody will be permanently suspended. Is this a place that you want to go and express your thoughts, Erica?
I just think, are we just making things up as we go? I mean, it makes sense that things are being made up as we go, because it seemed as though the idea of Elon buying Twitter in the beginning was just to create like some fodder, and also it was very effective in changing the market in some results, in some effects, like even if it were only like 24 to 36 hours. However, now you have somebody who does not have a background in social media, who is coming up with all of these rules as people are changing their accounts and stuff. It makes no sense whatsoever. I think this is really the end of Twitter. Most people haven't tweeted. Everyone's saying, like, I haven't tweeted in months. I haven't even been using Twitter. So if this is where it's going, I feel like it's being ushered out the pasture.
I agree with you. I feel like we're watching a very rich Willy Wonka in some kind of chocolate factory roll around and be like, put this in there, and the Gadzooks in there, and the Jolly Ranchers in there. He has no idea what he's doing. There's no plan. We're improvising a $44 billion company that can change markets day to day. It's also our town square. So it used to, 10 years ago, actually hold some merit, right? There was political debate. There was a way that you really could see it working. I agree, it's a garbage fire right now. But it
was a garbage fire years ago, too. Not just because he took over.
I
was off of Twitter years ago.
It got progressively worse.
It's gotten progressively worse.
It's vile and disgusting.
But this doesn't make it, to me, now it's much more of a circus. I was like interested in seeing what the interface would change to. This is chaos. I have enough chaos in my life. This is not.
So why don't you just not go on it?
I'm not going to, but I'm saying you can't just say don't go on it when Twitter is a mainstay of information highway. People get the news from Twitter. People get their ideas from Twitter.
They can get the news from the news.
I know that, but they don't.
I know. I'm just saying they
information.
I was disagreeing with you because I thought that, you know, this is a billionaire, this is a smart person with business acumen. I was like, oh, this is confusing that he has no plan. But I think his plan is just petty. It's just like, listen, you do something to me, you take my name, oh, now we're blocking people. Because there was no rules for blocking anybody before. But now it's like, okay, now you don't have your account, now you pay $8 to get it back. It seems like the ultimate level of childishness. And so I don't think that now I'm starting to be like, okay, well, what is the plan? But also, if you have that much money where you can just buy a social media site and don't care about what the plan is, you know, and then fire everybody, and he hired half of them back today and said, we actually really need you. Like, it's just ridiculous what's going on over there. So he is not concerned. So I don't think we should be concerned about how he spends his billions.
And maybe I'm wrong here, but it's reckless. I get someone who's like Dr. Evil doing that with their own companies. Tesla, SpaceX, Twitter, messing with that is reckless. It changed elections. That's a major part. And when you laugh about information highway, that's how Gen Z sometimes gets the news. They don't get it.
Maybe that's a confusion, because it's not great information you're getting on there. It's biased information that you shouldn't be getting your information from Twitter. That's just my personal opinion.
It's all true, but doesn't mean it wasn't happening. People were getting it that way.
You're talking about 10 years ago?
No, I'm talking
isn't Gen Z like isn't Gen Z on TikTok, and Twitter is like an older population?
I still think Twitter's a major
So I agree with you. It is an information highway, and people do get their news from it, and it's not a bad thing that people are getting their news from it, because there are verified news sources that are actually disseminating information
with the blue check mark
via Twitter. It's not so much about the ideas that people are putting out there. It's about the idea that you have news sources who are finding ways to connect with an audience that loves to be on Twitter.
Right.
But the issue now is you're also asking people who are verified, and they're verified because they are a news source or because they are a public figure. And much to your point, why would you, a public figure, pay $8 a month in order to be verified on a platform that abuses you?
They took my check mark off.
They did not.
Yeah.
They did not.
Yeah, I had a check mark and I didn't go on for so long that they took it away. This was before Elon. Wow. This was before Elon. So, and they took my check mark. No, will not. Or actually, you know what? Maybe I'm going to troll some people without my check mark, change my name, and give a little. What's good for the goose? What's good for the goose type of deal? Yeah, just stay away if it bothers you. Coming up on DBL, our interview with 80s pop icon Debbie Gibson. She's telling us all about her new holiday album, and we're talking about the latest inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Do these year's picks deserve a spot? That's next.
There's going to be a lot of internet chatter. That's where the red flag goes up.
We are never going to agree on this.
It's ignorant, and for me, it was just like a damn shame.
Tell me I need to do something, I'm going to do the exact opposite.
You know why I don't call in sick? Camera hog.
So Erica was saying, like, I lost my check mark, and that's true. I got like an email and they're saying like, you're going to lose your check mark if you don't log back in soon, because I really haven't been on in years. And I thought it was spam, so I just deleted it. But then with all the things going on Twitter, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to log back onto Twitter and see what's happening, like what's with my account now. So I logged back in. I didn't know my password. I had to do all that. But then I got on, and sure enough, they took my check mark away. And this was before Elon. This was an after. But I'm like, I'm not staying on this site. You know what I mean?
Well, that's how I actually got my Twitter handle, because someone had our name and hadn't used it for years, and then they give you the opportunity to reclaim it.
Right.
And they didn't reclaim it, and that's how I ended up with my Twitter account handle.
Yeah, so, I mean, and I'm definitely not paying 1 cent to have a blue check. I don't care about a blue check mark or not.
Free speech is free.
I saw a tweet that said, okay, this dude had like 1 million followers. He's like, at 500,000, you guys just gave me a check mark. I'm not going to pay for something I never asked for.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I don't care.
I have zero. And again,
I don't know if he's like a content creator or what. He's just like, I'm lost.
And what's interesting too is if you are paying $8, it doesn't become a town square. I tweeted, which is funny because I tweeted it. It becomes a country club. Yeah. If you're having to pay to get into the town square,
and especially right now, who has $8 to spare on social media?
And it's also the principle. Stephen King wrote,
trying to buy real things.
Stephen King has like $300 million, and he was haggling Elon Musk. He was like, how about 8, maybe not 20?
Oh, I saw that.
Stephen King doesn't care about the money. It's the principle of what this place represented was a public forum for people to speak in. And now if you have to pay,
he also said something about now you're going to be able to put long form. You don't have to attach a note because he must hate. He has a personal vendetta against seeing people attach long notes.
Yeah, he's on the. He
so
says
he is saying you can now write a paragraph on Twitter, which would be annoying. I don't really want to.
Oh, he doesn't want the threads.
That's basically Facebook.
Yeah.
Welcome back. So over the weekend, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted some unlikely rock stars. So Lionel Richie finally earned a spot. He performed Easy with Dave Grohl on stage. During his speech, he said it was a good thing the hall was expanding its parameters for rock and roll. I was reading over Lionel singing, and I felt like that was a sin.
Yeah.
That was a sin. I should have gave him his moment there. Rapper Eminem also pointed out that he's not a traditional rocker. He also credited his music for saving his life. 80s band Duran Duran finally got inducted after being rejected for 17 years, and country singer Dolly Parton, who performed Jolene, initially rejected her nomination, but she didn't think she was a rock and roll enough to get in. Let's watch.
I'm sure a lot of you knew that back when they said they were going to put me in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I didn't really feel like I had done enough to deserve that. And I didn't understand at the time that it's about a little more than that. But I'm just honored and so proud to be here tonight.
She came around quick. Dolly also said she plans to come out with an actual rock and roll album soon. Some other inductees, Eurythmics, Pat Benatar, and Judas Priest were also inducted.
I'm always surprised by this list every year, like especially when like people getting denied 17 times. I'm like, you know, these people are legends. I don't know what it takes in their criteria, but she said it's about a lot more than that. I was so happy like when Jay-Z got in, because I think like he has actually made songs with some of the top producers that produce rock music also. Yeah. And like, so I think that they've been opening up their doors to everybody who made a great impact on music, and I think that's important.
Yeah, it reminds me of Aerosmith and that DMZ crossover that one time.
DMZ?
DMC. I didn't say DMZ.
Did you hear a Z?
Like Run DMC?
Yeah, DMC. Everyone heard a Z.
Well, everyone's wrong. But I think rock and roll is interpretive to rebelliousness. What can you do to rebel against? An attitude of what does the young people say, Dre? A vibe. It's a V-bag.
But you also have to consider the genre of music, too, because this is equally beneficial to both the rock genre as well as music as a whole. It's very limited if you only used one genre and potentially could
run out.
The end of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I love seeing this. It really is quite indicative with Duran Duran being left out 17 years in a row. Like, that makes literally no sense, but I think 17 years ago, the parameters were a little tighter than they are right now. Not saying that, because shout out to Simon LeBon. He is a very sweet man. Love you, Simon. But it is important that it's more inclusive because of the way that music is going.
That's smart. How could you get rid of Duran Duran? Is so rock and roll.
Oh.
Coming up on DBL, Debbie Gibson gives us the deets on her first holiday album. I left it there just enough.
Yeah.
Stick around. Please, please.
Today's Sandals word of the day is
daiquiri. Enter at dailyblastlive.com/sandals for your chance to win a 4-day, 3-night escape for 2 to beautiful Curacao.
The federal government currently pays for COVID shots for all Americans regardless of health insurance status. But that is expected to end soon. And recently, people on social media have claimed that Pfizer is planning to raise the cost of its COVID shot by 400%. But is that true? Let's verify. Our sources are Angela Lukin, Pfizer's U.S. president, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Kaiser Family Foundation. In June 2022, HHS purchased 105 million doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for $3.2 billion. Right now, Americans can get one of those vaccines for free. But for the federal government to continue covering the cost of COVID-19 vaccines, Congress would need to approve additional funding. And that hasn't happened yet. So once the government supply runs out, the manufacturing, procurement, and pricing of the vaccines will transition to the private sector, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation. This is a common practice for many pharmaceutical products, and it usually results in a higher price of the product. In Pfizer's case, they say the vaccine price will increase from $30 per dose, which is what the government paid, to anywhere between $110 and $130. That is a 400% jump. Pfizer's U.S. President Angela Lukin said the higher price point is because of the higher cost related to switching from multiple dose vials to individually packaged doses and commercial distribution. Americans with private or government insurance, such as Medicare or Medicaid, should still be able to get the vaccine for free, according to Pfizer. People without insurance, however, might have a harder time finding free shots. So we can verify, yes, Pfizer is planning to increase the cost of its COVID-19 vaccine by as much as 400%. But people with insurance will likely still be able to receive the vaccine for free. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
Yes, welcome back. That was the song Christmas Star from Debbie Gibson's new holiday album. She's been in the music industry for over 30 years, but can you believe this is her first holiday album? We spoke with her earlier. Check it out.
Okay, so you recently posted a video with the caption, "Dance Like No One Is Watching." Is dancing one of your secrets to looking so young? Because you look the same.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Listen, I jokingly say I'm either taking on the world or I'm taking a nap.
Nice.
So I dance hard, I nap hard, and I dance when I feel like life is getting too serious or I'm taking myself too seriously. Like I take my work seriously because that's what I put forth out in the world, and people pay money to buy my music. It's my shows. I want it to be great. But there's a difference between taking that seriously and yourself seriously. So I kind of dance to shake that off. And yeah, I do like bad interpretive dancing for my dogs, and they kind of roll their eyes at me like, Mom. I have to film them sometime when I'm dancing for them because they are truly my boys. They're just like, really, Mom? Again?
You sing with your dad. I can't imagine, as a girl dad myself, I can't imagine how great that was. So can you tell us about that?
I'm going to cry right now. I just spoke to my dad before I'm talking to you guys here. And we've been singing together since I could start to form sentences as like a baby. And my dad has this unbelievable, natural, untrained voice that I feel the world needs to hear. And I'm, you know, he's pushing 80, and I'm so proud of him that he was bold enough to actually go into the studio and record. And I'm so honored that I have this cherished memory forever. Yeah. You know, it's just so, so special. I lost my mom earlier this year. Aww. And my mom was always also encouraging my dad to sing because, you know, she was a manager. So she was like, Joe, how are we going to capitalize on this voice? And he was like, you know what? Deb can have the showbiz craziness. I just want to like work for TWA and keep a steady paycheck coming home from my family, which is what he did, which is so noble. And my dad just sang for fun. I dragged him into community theater with me and got him in the studio for real this year, and it's so magical. Wow.
That's awesome.
Oh, I love that. We have a mutual friend, Bob, that I'm supposed to rub my ear. I think we didn't come up with anything funny. We didn't come up with anything funny though. He sent me a picture of you with like some other people. I'm like, I can't use that on the show.
To rub your ear?
No, I just did that for him. She knows what I'm talking about. Anyways,
he's a great guy, mutual friend. Yeah,
he'll love this. My producers, not so much. All right, so you also sing with Joey McIntyre on the album, and you two have known each other since you were teenagers. What'd you think when you first met him, and was he in New Kids on the Block at the time?
Yeah, so we met backstage at the New Kids concert at Westbury Music Fair, and we joked that Joe looked like he was 12, even though he was like 15 and I was 17. But you know, at that age, like sophomore and senior, like he thought I was this cool senior girl. And I was like, oh, what a cute little boy. And then when we played Vegas together last year, I was like, wait, we're like practically the same age, because he's turning 50 this year. I'm 52. At this point, it's all the same. But yeah, we always remembered that first meeting, and we met throughout the years, but we really became close in doing our duet of Lost in Your Eyes on the mixtape tour, which was his brilliant idea, then recording it, then playing Vegas together. And now we co-wrote Heartbreak Holiday for the Winterlicious album. And he's quite a songwriter. And we just have this incredible friendship and professional chemistry and creativity that is such an amazing gift in this chapter of my life. Because I've always been a solo show. I've never had a partner. He's got the 4 guys, but as he likes to say, he's very in touch with his feminine side. So having a female creative counterpart is fun for him too, and we're like pop soulmates. That's what we have dubbed each other. So
Al likes to listen to Winterlicious and on vinyl in the morning.
I do. First, I was going to say I am going to hit you up. I'd like a signed copy of the album. I'm just saying now. I would like. I'm gonna.
All right. Ask her
right
for
now.
A signed copy of the album.
Look.
Yes. See.
It's also got this like bonus 45.
Oh,
because
that's
I couldn't fit all the music.
Can you put
on
the
record? I'm missing what you guys are saying. What did I miss? That sounded good.
Names. Al was being very selfish and said, could you sign an album for him? And then I said, how about all of our names?
Yeah, we want it all day.
Haters.
I just happen to have a few extra. You will all get a copy.
And Debbie, we got to run. We will reach out for that album, 100%.
DBL Nation, make sure to put Debbie's new album, Winterlicious, on your holiday playlist and check out if Debbie's tour is coming to your city. Visit her website, DebbieGibsonOfficial.com. Debbie, thank you so much.
Amazing.
Let's take a listen to Jingle Those Bells while we go to break. Thanks, Debbie.
In some ways, churches have one of the best deals on federal taxes. They neither have to pay them nor file annual paperwork. But a tweet with 10,000 likes claims they could lose their tax-exempt status by backing a political candidate. So let's verify. Can the IRS revoke the tax-exempt status of churches that endorse candidates? Our sources are the IRS, the Johnson Amendment of 1954, Clergy Financial Resources, the United Church of Christ, the California Catholic Conference, and Grace Communion International. In 1954, Congress passed the Johnson Amendment, which prohibits churches, charities, and most other tax-exempt organizations from endorsing candidates. If they do, then they risk losing their tax-exempt status. The IRS says generally these organizations can't show preference for a candidate, But a leader can, if it's clear they're speaking as an individual. This means they can't use official titles or church resources like the pulpit, newsletter, or website to make their endorsement. Our sources note politicians can speak to congregants, but all candidates must be given the same opportunity. So, yes, the IRS can revoke the tax-exempt status of churches that endorse candidates, although it's a lengthy process, and the only time the IRS successfully revoked a church's tax-exempt status was in 1992, when Branch Ministries sponsored newspaper ads urging Christians not to vote for Bill Clinton. The United Church of Christ and the IRS note under the rules, churches are allowed to take positions on public policy issues such as abortion or immigration without endorsing specific candidates. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
As doctors gear up for flu and cold season, this fall doctors are seeing an increase in RSV cases. And though the respiratory illness is usually found in infants and children, many are wondering, can adults get RSV? Let's verify. Our sources, Novant Health infectious disease Dr. David Priest and family physician Dr. Carla Robinson. Though it's typically found in the younger population, Dr. Robinson says adults can get the virus.
Adults can get RSV and commonly get RSV, and it's usually a very mild illness.
Dr. Priest says this was only discovered a few years ago when hospitals began testing for it.
A number of years ago, as we got better diagnostic tests in the hospital, we began to discover that RSV was not just a disease of children, but a disease of adults, particularly the elderly or adults that live in skilled nursing facilities.
Both doctors say it is mild in healthy adults. Those who have ailments get it much worse.
And so these are your individuals that are older or who may have compromised immune systems or who have chronic disease.
RSV inflames airways in the lungs. That's why both doctors say it's dangerous for little kids and older adults or people with ailments. So we can verify that, yes, adults can get RSV.
Both doctors advise you continue to wash your hands and stay home if you're feeling sick, because it's that time of the year when respiratory illnesses start to spread. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
Welcome back. For all the wine lovers out there, today is International Merlot Day. Wow, someone phonetically spelled that. Merlot. They thought I was going to say Merlot. The conversations when I'm not around, I don't even want to know about. All right.
Wow.
You may love the taste of wine, but your teeth don't love the stains it leaves behind. Thanks to Smile Actives, you can enjoy your wine, coffee, and tea without worrying about how it'll impact your smile. Smile Actives' new Pro Whitening Gel removes the stains your favorite drinks and food leave behind and gives you a brighter, whiter smile in days. Smile Actives is so easy to use. Just add the Pro Whitening Gel to your toothpaste every time you brush your teeth. No change to your routine, no messy strips, trays, or expensive trips to the dentist. In a clinical study, users had on average an 8-shade improvement after using the gel for just 30 days. Order today for a special buy one, get one free offer, and don't wait to get your brighter, whiter smile. Visit smileactives.com today.
Merlot.
Wow, someone took that out for me. They thought I was going to go there.
I mean, do you guys remember Merlot on Sideways, where they're like, I'm not going to drink any bleeping Merlot?
Yeah, and it completely ruined the Merlot industry.
It sure did. The grapes would go unpicked.
Who knew? Wow. There's some great Merlots out there.
Yeah.
Support your local Merlot.
Happy Merlot Day to everybody out there. We'll see you tomorrow.